Okay, so I want to show you how it works and the power inside of ScaliQ, but before doing that, let's talk about the psychology behind why ScaliQ works and what we had in mind when we built it. So this is really important for me to talk about in these AI times. AI doesn't replace human sales, it clears the noise so real conversations can happen. This is what we want with ScaliQ. So the real problem isn't bad outreach. LinkedIn didn't become noisy because of humans, it became noisy because of automation done without care. So we started with LinkedIn lead generation in 2019, and back then we started to use something called duck soup, and it was super simple, but basically what we did here was just to spam everyone with the same message. So what happened is that everyone started to send copy-paste messages, force personalization, pretend interest, and the result here is that prospects stopped trusting messages and salespeople started to hate their own process, me included. And we were told human-only outreach is the only authentic way. But the truth is that the problem was never AI. The problem was AI without souls, because it was so static. It could only do one thing, and it was to send messages and the same message to everyone. So here we have a different philosophy today, AI that protects the human moment. So ScaliQ was not built to replace human connection. It was built to make more space for it. So not to sound more humans than humans, but to remove the exhausting mechanical parts of selling so real humans can show up where it actually matters. So think of ScaliQ as the quiet assistant that handles the door, so when the meeting happens, you arrive fully present. So when I worked as a sales rep, what I was really good at was the human connection. I was really good at the personal meeting, the negotiation, the closing the deals, but I never came to it because all of these other parts took so much of my time and my energy. So what we have now is that we have a system that supports real connection. So ScaliQ manages the first steps by researching the prospect, opening the conversation, following up with care, and keeping the tone respectful and natural, not to close the deal for you because this is what you are good at and this is your job, but to bring the right people to the table. So it doesn't chase, pressure, or manipulate. So here we have authenticity at scale. You can't manually nurture 300 conversations and still be fully human in each one. ScaliQ doesn't make outreach less personal, it makes it sustainably personal. So it holds presence in many dialogues, so when someone is ready for real exchange, you step in as you and do what you are good at. And the invitation then is going to feel aligned because you're no longer choosing between automation or authenticity, scale or soul, efficiency or integrity. ScaliQ was built for that exact tension, a system that respects both your time and the human on the other side of the screen. So I really want to invite you to try it, not to become louder, but to create better conversations, and better conversations lead to real meetings. And this is the goal of LinkedIn prospection. It's not to sell on LinkedIn, it's actually to start conversations, because from there it's going to then lead to the meetings. So now when you understood the most important part, which is the psychology behind the conversations and why ScaliQ is so powerful and actually works, let's dive into how it looks like inside of ScaliQ. Okay, so now I'm going to show you 3 things in ScaliQ that makes it so powerful. And the first one is how simple it is to start a new campaign. So all you have to do here is start new campaign, insert your target, and that's it. You just hit enter here, and then ScaliQ is going to find the right leads for you. If you already have a list of leads, then you can import your leads right there. So ScaliQ is going to know if someone is already connected in your network, and it's going to start or reactivate the conversation right away. If it's someone that's not connected to you, it's going to send a connection request instead. So all of this is going to be handled for you. So here we made it super simple to find your targets. Next step here is the accounts. So here you can basically add as many accounts as you want inside of ScaliQ to scale up your LinkedIn outreach. So here we use a system that keeps all of your accounts safe to keep you within the LinkedIn limits. So this is automatic, and it's going to keep an eye on the connection request and the messages that it sends. So what we're doing here is basically that we're going to use one profile to send a connection request or message, and then we're going to rotate throughout all of your different profiles to keep a safe pacing and make sure that we are going to maximize the activity within the safety limits. And the third one is the unified inbox, and this is where the magic happens. And here you see that we are having our agent crafting a response while we are speaking. So all of the conversations is landing in this unified inbox. It's collected here, and basically it doesn't matter which profile is receiving the message, because we're going to see all of the conversation right here. So when we have conversations that we need to take care of, we don't need to go to each profile and then find the right message. All you have to do here is to basically type a message and then just hit enter, and ScaliQ is going to send from the right profile for you. And you can also see here that we are detecting what language the prospect has on their profile, and make sure to reach out in their different languages. And obviously when someone is greeted in their own language, it's going to make them more open to have a conversation with us. And all of these tags right here is automated, so ScaliQ is going to know when someone wants more information, when someone is not interested or interested, so that we can easily filter out the ones that we want to follow up or engage with. So here we have someone that actually reached out to us first when we connected with the prospect. So other tools basically would stop their activity here, because we got a reply, and other tools, that's the main goal. But inside of ScaliQ we want real conversations. So here you see that we are answering with the emotional cues that we can read from the prospect's own message. So here we can see the dynamic and the energy that the prospect is sending, and then we can answer in the same manner. And when we have a positive reply, basically we come in here and then we answering the rest. And here we have someone really skeptical about AI doing the work, but he's really curious for someone being so skeptical. So I also want to show you a few more examples. So here we have information request, and let's take this first one. So here you can see that the agent reached out with a message, and this is exactly what we want. It's a perfect example of LinkedIn outreach, because we reach out with a message and the prospect is replying to us with a message. This doesn't seem to be much, because he's neither interested or not interested. He's just answering a question. But this is what we want in LinkedIn outreach. We want micro engagement. So when someone replied, this is actually the first step of a really hot lead, because now the AI agent is going to craft a new response, and this is from where we're going to have a more deeper conversation. So here we have other examples that wants more information, but the deeper examples I want to talk about is this one, where someone is diving deeper into the topics that we just opened up. So here we have someone who is telling us the biggest challenges he typically run into in LinkedIn outreach, and this is basically goal for us. This is what we want to know when we are doing prospection, to know the challenges of the prospects, right? So here he's telling us that the challenge is to maintain consistent messaging, keep each profile within safe activity limits, ensuring no leads are missed when replies come in across different accounts. It also becomes difficult to keep targeting perfectly aligned across all profiles, and to avoid duplicate outreach to the same prospects. Those areas usually require the most attention and systemization to keep everything run smoothly. And he's also telling us that he's using spreadsheets and manual checks to do this. So can you imagine the exhaustion of doing this? And we know it because when we had our lead generation agency, basically we took care of all of our clients' LinkedIn profiles and then answering everything manually. So this is why ScaliQ was built, to eliminate all of this hassle for you and make it super simple. So here is another example where we are talking about this topic, and then we have an answer that they are doing manual outreach, and we're asking them how this is, and the answer is that sometimes it feels exhausting. And of course it's exhausting because we are not meant to do this. If you're working with sales, most probably you're really good at the human connection, and you really want to connect with the prospect and have real meetings and have real negotiations and closing the deals. This is what I imagine is the meaningful part for you and what you're actually good at. So this is what we want to do. We want to use ScaliQ to enhance the real personal meetings. So we don't want to replace human connection. We make it possible for you to show up fully present when the meeting actually happens, and not burnt out because you had to keep track on all of these spreadsheets and finding the right target, and do all of the things that you now don't have to do anymore. So if you want to try this out, I want to invite you to try it out for free. And if you have any feedback or questions, please come to our chat and talk more with us there. I really hope that you find value in this video. If you did, please comment and like this video down below. I look forward to talk to you again in the next video. Have a good week. Bye.